it's not new at all. So if we look back to the Cold War, Western governments, especially the US, but other Western governments as well, had front organizations a front organization is an organization that's set up to look like it's run by somebody else, but really it's for example, a government behind it. So Western governments ran front organizations targeted or directed at countries behind the Iron Curtain, so Warsaw Pact countries. But Warsaw Pact countries, especially the Soviet Union, did the same thing. And so we had here in the West, we had front NGOs, we had front publications, and that's something that continues to this day. And for example, Russia finances or underwrites organizations operating in our countries it's not immediately obvious that Russia is the sponsor or the funder of them, and so does China. But it has to be added, so do Western governments, and Russia and China are trying to keep such organizations out of their countries. But it's not just something that those countries do. We try to do it too. We feel we have good intentions, we in the West, but it's a very common practice. So during the Cold War, one area where it was very common to have front organizations was in the area of cultural publications. And so both the CIA, both the Americans and the Soviet Union did that. And we should remember that Radio Free Europe started as a CIA operation, and America clearly felt it was for a good cause, but it was originally a CIA-funded operation, Radio Free Europe, which was so influential in bringing news about the free world to people behind the Iron Curtain. Western organizations, Western foundations and think tanks often sponsor democracy outlets in Russia, and not so much in China, simply because it's not possible. There are such strict laws. So in Russia, democracy organizations, LGBTQ organizations, human rights organizations have in the past received a lot of funding from the West. And I shouldn't name any specific organizations here, because I don't want to put them in the bad light, but it's just a part of the Western effort to help democracy groups in other countries. One group I can mention is the Helsinki Commission, which existed in lots of Warsaw Pact countries, and the West tried to support those organizations during the Cold War, because who would not support human rights organizations, but the Warsaw Pact governments saw them as being a tool of the West. I should add also that Russia has passed legislation to make organizations that receive Western funding, to force them to declare themselves to be Western agents. So they now face a choice of either not accepting Western funding or declaring themselves to be Western agents.